Picture a normal workday in the Yukon. Iron running, mud flying, everyone thinking about yardage and ounces. Then a bucket lands on something that refuses to sound normal. It isn't a crunch. It isn't a ring. It's a flat, heavy thud that shuts down every idle conversation and focuses the whole crew on one spot. The machine eases back, scrapes again, and a shape begins to show where only rough ground should be. Timbers sit straight. Stone lines look measured. The face in the dirt doesn't look broken. It looks built. Ground radar fills in the rest. The screen shows a dark rectangle behind the face, a neat shape in a place that hates neat shapes. Not a cave-in, not a collapsed drift, a chamber. The air feels different around finds like this. People get quiet. Eyes move from the wall to the clock. Time matters because costs never sleep, and seasons in the north are short and mean. This is where a miner makes a choice. Walk past a rumor and keep chasing ounces, or slow down, treat the site like surgery, and find out what the ground is hiding. There's another layer here. Stories spread faster than diesel. Words like vault and cash appear in people's heads before anyone says them out loud. Numbers drift in too, the kind with more zeros than a normal week of sluicing can touch. None of that pays a fuel bill. Decisions do. So a plan takes shape. Keep the circle small. Map the face, test the air. Cut inches, not feet. If it's nothing, patch it and move on. If it's something, control the facts from the first second. Before anything else, one truth stands tall. A sealed room in frozen dirt means intent. Someone built it to keep the inside safe or to keep everyone else out. Either way, the message is clear. This isn't normal ground anymore. It's a question with a price tag, and the only way to answer it is to start carefully and let the wall talk. Next comes the detail that turns a hunch into a problem. The sound and shape that mining soil shouldn't have. Every miner learns the music of earth. Gravel has a crunch. Bedrock has a clean ring. This wall gives neither. It returns a dull, final thud that says stop and look. The crew peels back mud in thin layers, and the shape refuses to act like nature. Edges stay straight. Timbers sit where timbers have no reason to sit. Stone courses look like they were laid by a careful hand, not dumped by time and ice. The radar picture matches the feeling. It draws a box, tight and solid, where chaos usually lives. That kind of order means intent. While the lamps burn, markings begin to show themselves. Scratches turn into lines that match from stone to stone. Some cuts form crosses. Some form sharp angles that repeat in a way accidents never do. People don't spend hours carving warnings in frozen ground unless the message matters. The message here feels simple. This was built to be found by the right person or avoided by everyone else. Pressure arrives the way it always does. It comes from outside the claim, from people who want things done slow, clean, and safe. The safe advice is to pause, bring in specialists, fill out forms, wait for perfect information. In a short northern season, that advice has a cost. A paused mine is a hungry hole. It eats cash and returns nothing. The smarter path is narrower. Move forward, but treat the face like a patient on the table. Support the wall. Read the loads. Cut small. Keep the circle small too, because attention has its own gravity. Once word gets out, the timeline leaves your hands. There is one more step before any big move. Test the air on the other side. Air can tell you how long a space has been closed. It can tell you if the chamber is dry, sour, or dangerous. Most of all, it can tell you whether you are about to open a box of loose dirt or a room that has been sealed on purpose for a very long time. When the bit finally slips through and the chamber breathes, the answer comes fast. The smell that rises is more than a smell. It's a date stamped in the air, and it sets the tone for everything that follows. The closer the team works, the stranger the build becomes. These aren't quick timbers braced in panic. They look set with patience. Stone sits tight against stone. Joints are packed with clay and pitch the way shipbuilders seal seams against water. That alone tells a story. Rush crews don't seal anything this clean. They cut, brace, chase pay, and move on. This wall was built to wait out winters and still be sound. The markings sharpen as the mud falls away. They repeat in places where day labor never wastes time. They feel like signs. They could be ownership marks. They could be warnings. They could be both. The instruments keep returning the same message. There's mass beyond the face, not scattered in a messy pile. but stacked. The pattern looks like shelves or crates, not a random fall. Outside, voices keep pushing for delay. That's normal. On paper, delay looks responsible. In real time, delay can be a trap. The Yukon window is short. Weather moves in. Water moves in. News moves in. Any one of those can turn a promising dig into a lost chance. The choice holds. Move with care, log every move, but do not stop. The crew switches from mining pace to surgical pace. A small vent hole goes in. Air is sampled. Supports are added. The goal is simple. Make the chamber safe and read the space without waking up problems that were designed into the build. This is the moment when a sealed room asks a hard question. Was it built to guard value or to hold back risk? The only path to an answer is forward. Forward means inches, not feet. Forward means soft hands, not force. And forward means fewer voices, because the more people who speak, the fewer people who listen. When the vent hole finally lets the chamber breathe, the first gust isn't friendly. It is old. It is sour. It clings to the throat. That message is as clear as fresh numbers on a scale. Whatever is inside has been sleeping for a long time. Now the wall is ready to talk in a language every miner understands. Weight and sound. Steel bites stone, then slides into void. A thin hiss rides out of the cut. The air has that heavy, stale tang that sticks and makes swallowing harder than it should be. It is the smell of time and tight spaces. Monitors confirm what noses already know. The far side holds weight, not a dusting, not a scatter, but thick returns stacked in layers that push the display into a steady band. Something heavy sits in order on the other side of that wall. This is where facts and fears try to outshout each other. Facts say ventilate, stabilize, measure, and widen. Fears whisper about traps, bad runs of luck, and chambers that punish greed. Camps always carry stories like that, and this one offers fresh fuel for old tales. Even so, the schedule does not answer to rumor. The crew clears the air, watches the numbers settle, and then widens the opening by inches. Radios stay clipped and calm. No one overshares. Updates are short and useful. Security shifts stronger. Fewer phones stay on. More eyes watch the perimeter. This is not about hiding truth forever. It is about managing a moment until the right people can do the right work without noise. The next hour is slow and careful. Supports go in. Hairline fractures get pinned. Dust moves in small clouds, then settles. The wall changes tone under the tool. Less ring, more give. A fine crack blooms like frost on glass. A sliver of light slices through darkness and catches the smallest flicker from inside. The chamber answers with a sound that takes over a camp. It is a bright, clean clink of metal hitting stone, followed by more just like it. Coins do not need an introduction. That sound is the same in any language and any century. In one breath, the sight stops feeling like a rumor and starts feeling like a choice with weight. The opening widens, the light goes in, and the scene on the far side makes people rethink what a mine can hold. The opening grows by inches. Dust hangs and then clears. A floodlight slides through and finds order where chaos should live. Rows of wooden crates sit like bricks in a wall. Lids show faded burns and marks that look like symbols from older days. This is not junk thrown in a hole. It is storage built by patient hands. The first crate fights the pry bar. Inside is not a miner's mix. It is weight arranged in neat rows. Bars, gold the shape of ingots, edges crisp, faces stamped with marks that look like they belong in quiet rooms, not under frozen ground. Near those bars sit objects that never came out of a sluice. A gold cup dulled by years without air. Silver tools resting in fabric that once was rich and now is tired. Navigation pieces with tiny numbers scratched by a steady hand. The kind sailors carried when oceans still kept too many secrets. In a blink, the math that runs a season shifts shape. Ounces per hour become crates per row. The raw metal value alone feels like a number that makes bank managers sit up. If the coins and bars prove what they look like, the figure grows again. If the other pieces carry clear history, the figure leaves metal price behind and enters the slower world of provenance and records. That is where the risk grows. Metal sells. Artifacts argue. And arguments invite attention most miners never want. The crew feels all of that land at once. Some people picture homes paid off and clean slates. Others Picture officials asking careful questions and calling the contents cultural property. No one is wrong to think that way. The only smart move is calm control. The site tightens, photos get taken, logs get filled with details, storage gets locked. Fewer hands handle fewer things. Through all the motion, the chamber keeps making that small, steady sound of coins settling into dust. It is like a clock counting down, reminding everyone that secrets never last long in a place built on stories. Finds this loud don't only strain machines, they strain people. The next pressure doesn't rise from the ground. It rolls in from the road and from the mind. A secret leaks without words. A truck that idles on a ridge too long. Headlights that pause, then fade. A laugh in a bar that arrives at the wrong time. By the end of a week, people who shouldn't know anything start acting like they know a lot. The claim answers fast. More lights, more logs, more eyes. Radios go short and careful. Security moves from idea to routine. Then the run of bad luck begins. A hose pops where it shouldn't. A bearing screams after months of quiet work. A rig coughs for no reason anyone can prove. Maybe it is simpleware, maybe it is more. Patterns feel personal when tension runs high. Camps reach for one word for strings like this, and that word never helps. Old tales bubble up. Places that punish greed. Holes that take a toll in parts, and injuries before they give up their secrets. Some workers want to step back and let the site cool. Others stare at crates and see exits from problems that have nothing to do with mining. One coin could fix a bill. One bar could buy time. Temptation doesn't shout, it whispers. It travels through tents and trucks and turns into plans that look harmless until a small move becomes a big mistake. Trust starts to bend. It doesn't have to break to be dangerous. It just has to change shape. The fix is structure, tighter check-ins, locked storage that records every touch, smaller teams working shorter windows, fewer devices, clear rules, clear consequences. None of this is about fear. It is about control. Outside pressure keeps building. When value looks like history, agencies and claimants arrive quickly. That is normal. It is also a race. To protect a discovery, you must protect the facts. Stabilize the chamber, record the layout, photograph every piece in place, build a clean record of what was found, where it sat, and how it was handled. The goal is not to hide. The goal is to be ready when attention becomes official. Good records protect good work. Inside all of this, the season clock keeps ticking. Weather does not pause for paperwork. Costs don't pause for rumors. The crew holds a thin line between finishing a first pass and getting drowned by outside noise. The line holds because the work stays simple. Cut, support, log, secure, repeat. It is not glamorous, but it is how big moments survive to become clear stories instead of messy legends. All of it leads to the last question. If the chamber is everything it seems to be, what changes beyond the claim? Imagine the straight list. The bars and coins are real. The crates are old. The other pieces connect to people and places from far away. That single set of facts bends the usual Yukon story. Most people carry a quick map in their heads. Indigenous trails, trade routes, the rush, and the modern show. A sealed room full of old-world metal and crafted items adds a new line under that map. It suggests quiet projects by well-funded hands. It hints at journeys that did not end where the books say they did. That shift is bigger than money. It touches meaning. When a find crosses from metal to history, the rules change. Private value becomes a discussion. Ownership turns into careful steps, patient forms, and measured voices. A miner who usually works in hours and yards has to work in dates, marks, and provenance. That is why a quiet approach makes sense. Announcements can run ahead of facts. Once the world climbs into a story, control gets slippery. The better way is slower and stronger. Finish the first look, stabilize, record. Invite the right eyes when the foundation is ready. If the chamber proves out, the name tied to the discovery moves from weekly totals into a longer conversation about how and why wealth travels, hides, and waits. If the chamber doesn't prove out, the process still teaches a blueprint for handling big rumors without letting a camp fall apart. There is also the human part. A discovery like this can divide a team if it is handled badly. Clear rules and steady leadership make the difference between a proud moment and a broken camp. This is not about cheering a jackpot. It is about making sure the people who did the work are safe. The site is protected, and the story can be told cleanly when it is ready to be told. After days of controlled cuts and careful lifts, a heavy piece comes up and rests in a gloved grip. It is a cup formed from gold, edges softened by age, stones dim from years without light. The chamber glows under floodlights. No bold lines are needed. The room itself explains the scale. The practical work continues. Stabilize the floor, brace the walls, label and log. Build a record that answers hard questions before they're asked. The larger question remains for anyone watching with clear eyes. Is this fortune only, or is it also proof that the North carries a hidden chapter built by hands most people never expected to find here? If it is only fortune, the value is high and the memory is strong. If it is also proof, then the value outlives every price tag. It becomes part of the place. It changes the way people think about who came here, what they carried, and why they hid it, where winter rules the calendar. In the end, ground decides. The North either yields clarity or keeps secrets for another winter. For now, the steps are simple and steady. Keep people safe, keep records clean, keep the chamber stable, and keep moving just fast enough to stay ahead of weather and noise. If this holds, the Yukon does not just get a new dot on a map, it gets a new chapter. Some holes are just holes, a few are hinges. Open the right one, and nothing looks the same after.